The wilderness is a beautiful, brutal, and indifferent place. We've been told the numbers of the missing are huge, a sweeping, untraceable tide of tragedy, but that's a lie. The true mysteries don't lie in the thousands. They lie in the specific, terrifyingly strange details of the few. I'm David Paulides, and for years, through my research into the missing 411 phenomenon, I've documented cases that defy logical explanation. Today, we're cutting through the noise to examine two of the most complex disappearances I've ever investigated. Cases that span from the icy mountains of Alaska to the scorching desert near the heavily guarded Area 52. Our first case takes us to Skagway, Alaska, in September 2000. The landscape here, much like the Yukon where Charles Gay often worked, is rugged and unforgiving. Charles, who went by Brian, was 28 years old and a highly educated geologist. This was a man who thrived in the remote field. If anyone was equipped to handle a day hike, it was him. His plan was a short trip up to Upper Dewey Lakes, a popular but very steep 2.8-mile trail. He was due back by 11 p.m. for his ferry. He never showed. The next morning, his wallet, his clothes, and all his belongings were still in his hostel room. It was as if he walked out for a short trip and simply vanished. Alaska State Troopers and Skagway Police immediately launched a massive search, but found nothing. Now, here is where the chilling missing 411 profile begins to emerge. About a year later, during a secondary, expanded search far above the main lake area, a searcher found a logbook in a remote, unused cabin at the absolute highest peak. The entry read, "Great day, great hike, but this GD pen ran out of ink. Brian G." This was Charles's first and last confirmed trace. He was somewhere between that high-altitude cabin and the city of Skagway, and he was in superb physical shape. Yet, after 2 decades of searching, nothing has been found. No backpack, no clothing, and the most chilling detail that surfaces in countless missing: 411 cases. No shoes. They simply disappear. Charles Gay was a seasoned geologist, but that didn't save his life. He disappeared within 3 miles of a major cruise port city. How does a man like that simply evaporate? When the environment can't explain the event, you have to consider something else. Could the high energy in these alpine regions open a temporary dimensional rift? He signs his name, turns to hike down, and takes one step too far, right into a seam in reality that swallows everything whole. Only something supernatural is this clean. The impossible details lead people to reach out with their own bizarre encounters. We received letters this week that touch on the very themes that intertwine with the missing 411 mystery: UFOs and missing time. One letter described a man's childhood in Hawaii, seeing a creature with large eyes peering through his window. Then came the terrifying, recurring nightmares of a massive, triangular craft. 2 hulking figures would take him to an inactive volcano. This was the late 72nds. Could these experiences, like the ones reported in cases of alien abduction, be connected to the sudden, inexplicable disappearances we see in the field? Another letter hit on a signature missing 411 feature, Missing Time. A 10-year-old boy in central Wisconsin ran to hide during flashlight tag. He stopped dead, certain a meteorite was about to strike him. It was an incredibly bright light coming directly at him, causing him to gasp and shut his eyes. When he opened them a second later, he was fine. In his reality, a minute had passed. In the adult's reality, 30 minutes had gone by. His father had looked in that exact spot twice and had not seen him. A brilliant light, a gasp of fear, and a huge gap of missing time. We now move a world away from the cold, dense woods of Alaska to the scorching, barren desert of Nevada, just north of Tonopah. This is the case of Carl Sanders. Carl was 48 years old, on vacation with his wife, Debbie, in July 2002. They were in an environment where temperatures soared to 125 degrees. They drove way off the road and ran out of gas. After hiking for a couple of days, they made the fatal mistake. They decided to split up. Days later, a Forest Service worker found Debbie. She was delirious, near death. Carl was gone. The search was massive. Every resource imaginable was deployed, including the National Guard, and they found something. A pair of Carl's shorts, a shirt, and one sandal. This leads us to the stripping pattern, a classic missing 411 feature. But in the desert, this case becomes even more bizarre. The cadaver dogs found no scent. Think about it. A body in 125-degree heat in a barren environment creates an odor that can be picked up for miles. Yet, nothing. Carl was a smart man, and he vanished into an open, rocky desert, leaving behind a few pieces of clothing, but absolutely no trace of his body. Where did these people go? Could this be a case of a dark government experiment? Or perhaps even an extraterrestrial entity operating near Area 52? What if Carl encountered something akin to the energy signature of the Skinwalker Ranch phenomenon? It's not a stretch to theorize that a predatory organism, a cryptid, or a powerful force behind a dimensional rift took him, cleaning up the scene faster than any dog could track. These two cases, Gay in the north and Sanders in the south, share impossible characteristics. The clean disappearance of the body, the lack of scent, the missing gear. This forces us to consider the supernatural. My audience has seen the connections. The missing individuals found up a tree, sometimes naked, like a hunter's trophy. And the bizarre oddity of two completely different people with the exact same name disappearing in very close proximity. Is this evidence that parallel worlds are touching? That a tear or a void between dimensions is momentarily opening, letting something in and out. The mysteries are linked. The Bigfoot, the UFOs, the missing time, they seem to be different facets of the same overarching, unexplained phenomenon that leads to the missing 411 clusters. I feel deeply for the families of Charles Gay and Carl Sanders. When a child or a husband vanishes without a trace, the pain never leaves. They deserve answers. These two cases are not accidents. They are not simple exposure. They are signatures of a terrifying process that operates in our wilderness, a process we refuse to acknowledge. The clean, impossible disappearances are the horrifying threads of the missing 411 profile. I'm honored that you're here, listening and watching. I urge you to share this video, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you're subscribed. You can find all my books and DVDs on my website, so don't be ripped off by resellers online. The last favor I ask, as you go into your community, if you see someone in distress, be that good person. Extend yourself. Do something nice. Till next time, be safe. David Paulides, out.